This video is going to show you the new features that Google Meet offers during a virtual meeting. So right now, I'm going to show you the two standard things up the top here that have been there since the beginning. The first one is the participants icon, and when they click that, students are able to see who is in the meet with them. There's also the chat, the little chat icon here, and that is where students would normally ask their questions, teachers would send out links, whatever it may be, say hello to each other. This is where the chat would be. And now Google has created new features, and it's under the activities icon, which is a triangle, square, and circle. And if we were to click that, there are three new things that Google Meet has started. One is Breakout Rooms, where teachers can split students into groups into their own rooms. Polls, that is where a teacher can ask a question to the whole class and kind of gauge maybe if the lesson's going well or maybe a vote on something. They can create a poll for that. And last is the Q&A section, which a teacher can enable this, and then the students, instead of using the chat, can use the Q&A to ask a question so it doesn't flood the chat, and the teacher can address those questions while teaching the lesson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over each feature with you and how you would be able to use them in a Google Meet. The first feature I'm going to talk about is the polls feature that a teacher can enable in order to kind of gauge something that maybe is part of the lesson, or maybe take a vote, class vote, whatever it may be. The teacher can access and enable polls, and the students can answer the question. So underneath the activity section, if a student clicks on polls, you'll notice that right now there is nothing there. If you happen to see that there is nothing there, that means that the teacher hasn't enabled a poll to be activated. So what I'm going to do is, on the teacher end, I'm going to launch a poll. And if you'll notice that when I launch a poll, a window pop says a new poll has been launched, and then it gives a question. You'll also will notice that there is a green dot under the activities icon and tells me that there is something in that activities and I need to click it. Digging a little deeper, you'll notice that it's specifically a new poll has been added, and then I'm going to click it. Now, this question asks, do you feel you understand prime numbers? Now, this is probably part of a lesson. Teacher wants to say, do you understand after the lesson? Maybe I do, and I want to hit yes, and then I can vote. And so what will happen is, more than one student, it will show the different votes. The teacher has the ability to show everyone the results or not. It is anonymous to all the students, so the students can feel comfortable saying yes or no. Only the teacher knows who says what. And then you can kind of go over the lesson or the questions again if need be. So again, polls is just a great way to kind of gauge how the class is doing, how the class is feeling, if they're learning anything. And that is how a teacher can use polls in a Google Meet. Another new feature of Google Meets is the ability to ask a question to your teacher in the Q&A section, and it becomes a question card for the teacher to answer. What I really like about this feature is that it doesn't make your questions get flooded in the chat, and your child can have a clear and concise question that the teacher can answer and see right away. So in order to get to the Q&A, your child would have to go up to where it says activities at the top, and it's a little square, triangle, and circle, and click it. And then they're going to go to the Q&A section at the bottom. What you'll notice at first, that if your child receives this message with no option to ask a question, that means that the teacher has not enabled the Q&A. Once the teacher allows questions, now you'll notice that they have a button on the bottom to ask a question. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to ask a simple question. What are the page numbers for the math lesson? Okay. Once I think I'm ready, I'm going to post it. And now it's going to be a question card that's given right to the teacher for them to answer. Now, if you notice that there's an option for the teacher to make questions hidden or public. So when a question is public, there's going to be nothing on your child's side that shows that it's public. It's just going to be public for them to see. If the teacher makes questions hidden, you'll notice now that on the question card, it says the question's hidden. So it's a great thing if your child wants to ask a question and they don't really want everyone to see, the teacher can hide questions and not allow everyone to see the questions. Or they can make them public for the group and everybody can see the questions. So you notice that now it doesn't have the hidden banner on there. So once the lesson's done or they're doing a little Q&A session in the Google Meet and the teacher has addressed your child's question, what the teacher can do is on their end, they have a check mark. And when they click that check mark, now you'll notice right next to the username, there's a little green check next to it, which means that the teacher has addressed the question and has answered it. So at least that your child will know that their question has been addressed during the lesson. So it's just a great way to keep questions organized and not flood the chat with the questions that teachers have to go back and find and make sure they don't miss your child's question because it might be very important. So that is how your child will use the Q&A in a Google Meet. Another new Google Meet feature is the ability for your child's teacher to use breakout rooms during a Google Meet. Some reasons why a teacher would want to use breakout rooms is for group work, maybe on a project, or simply for mini lessons or working with another teacher in the room. When breakout rooms are in session, the teacher has the ability to set up as many breakout rooms as they would like and a time limit for those breakout rooms. Now, breakout rooms are located under the activities icon again. And on your child's end, there is nothing that they can do on this part. What the teacher has to do is enable the breakout room for your child to enter. So what I'm going to do as a teacher, I'm going to open up breakout rooms. And you'll notice that I now have the option to join the first breakout room. That's the one I'm assigned to. And I'm going to click join. Now what that does, it takes me away from the main Google Meet session and puts me in a breakout room with maybe another teacher or another student. I have a few options up here. The banner up here tells me how long it's going to, the timer is going to be. I can return to the main call if I need to, or the really nice option is to ask for help. Once I click ask for help, it allows the teacher to be notified that I do have a question and I need them to join this breakout room in order to answer my question. Once the timer reaches about 30 seconds, you'll notice they'll get a red banner at the top showing them that they only have a limited time amount in the breakout room to finish whatever the teacher has assigned them to do in that breakout room. So it does a little countdown for them that they will go to. And once that countdown is done, it will automatically make them return to the main call once they click it and join the main Google Meet one more time. So again, that is how a breakout room is used. What the student will do is click join. They'll be able to work whatever activity that they're doing. They can ask for help, and they do have a countdown time for the breakout room. So those are just a few options that breakout room allows your child to do in a Google Meet.